Live from a NASCAR bunker in Kyle's parents' basement, it's Turn the Radio Off with Mike Parsons and Kyle Bauer.
Turn it off, turn it off, turn the radio off. Turn it on, we're trying to turn it off, turn it off, turn the radio off. Except for once in your life.
Become a fan at Facebook.com/TTRO Show. Follow along on Twitter.com/TTRO Show. Or just listen right now. It's Turn the Radio Off.
Well, you know things are weird, Kyle, around your parts, when the very real possibility of Donald Trump isn't even the weirdest thing you're going to talk about on your show.
How could it get weirder than that?
Have you been following the Odyssey of Todd Courser? Does the name Todd Courser mean anything to you?
Yes, it does. And it's really awkward because I have a friend who is a member of a local government.
Okay.
And he is a delegate, and he's prominent in the Southeast Michigan Republican Party.
Are you friends with Todd Courser? Is that what you're trying to say?
He's good friends with Todd Courser.
Wow.
And for months, I have listened to this guy say nothing but positive things about Todd Courser and say, oh, Todd Courser's so great. And now I'm hearing all this news about fake gay relationships and blackmail. And
first, let me take you to the beginning. For those that don't know, Todd Courser is a state representative from Lapeer County. He first showed up on my shit list, Kyle, actually. You may remember right after gay marriage was legalized by the Supreme Court, he tried to get a bill passed in the state legislature to make sure that all weddings were sanctioned by religion.
And I remember that as well. I was also very offended by that. And then I put two and two together after we talked about it on the show. And I'm like,
right.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, no.
So this was back in June. He says, I'm completely traditional marriage. I believe that traditional marriage is really God's model for marriage. I don't believe that the government has a role in it. The contract has been in place for thousands of years. It's between a man and a woman, his wife on one side, and God on the other side. So, what side is your mistress on in God's contract? What side is her husband on? Yes. Earlier this week, it came to light that Todd Courser has been having an affair with Cindy Gamrat. She's a Republican representative as well.
Another Tea Partier.
Right. From the Grand Rapids area. And once he realized that this was going to come to light, he tried to plant a rumor that he was caught soliciting a prostitute for gay sex because he thought that, okay, if he puts out this nasty rumor about himself, the truth won't sound as bad. Wow.
Great rationale from a politician, from somebody who's making decisions for your community.
Right.
Great rationale.
Right. At best, he's a hypocrite. And I don't like to throw out that H word because people like to use it, and they overuse it for people that don't deserve it. But here, it fits. So at best, he's a hypocrite. At worst, he's a mentally ill sociopath in a position to affect a lot of people's lives.
And with Courser, I found it interesting using a gay relationship, not only because he's come out to be
anti-gay,
pretty homophobic, and he uses that because he thinks that's the ultimate bombshell,
right? Because
that's the most heinous thing,
right,
that could possibly exist. Somebody being closeted, somebody having a family and still being closeted, which is, I'm not going to say it's common, but it definitely happens,
right? Oh, yeah, that's exactly. He thought, oh, wait, Todd Courser, he's gay now. Oh no, he just cheated on his wife with another woman. Not so bad.
Right, that's the worst thing. Not that it's relative, but the fact that it would be with a gay person is worse. But it goes to show you that a lot of these Tea Partiers are just conservatives who constantly invoke religion and try to be sanctimonious about marriage. It shows you that this has very little to do with religion, and as much as they want to hold the power, they want to be able to discriminate.
I just think homos are weird, man.
And I was going to say, as Mike, as you have commonly put it, they're just eked out by gays.
Right.
Like, it just weirds them out. It makes them feel icky. They don't like it.
You know
it
who
has
they are?
nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with sanctity of marriage.
They're the type of people who, when something annoys them, it should be outlawed. If you're slow at the U-scan, it should be outlawed. You should be shot. Gay people weird me out, so they shouldn't be allowed to be married.
Yeah, that type of hyperbole, except that hyperbole is something that they've tried to put into legislation, which makes it dangerous.
Well, then today he came out. He put out a 27-minute audio tape on SoundCloud about how he put this story out because there were people blackmailing him.
He took the Kyle Bauer damage control plan.
What pisses me off is this is his first podcast, and he probably got way more listens than we'll ever get.
Oh, for sure.
And you know who else is the real loser in this, Kyle? That Lansing hotspot where he wanted the rumor to take place about him
the
soliciting.
gay club out there, yeah.
Yeah, they're the real loser in this because if this rumor would have been planted, that hotspot would have gotten so much exposure. I mean, it would have been so much free advertising.
It would have. That would have been good. Sean Varichelli, friend of the show, has done business over there through a former radio station he worked at. He said it's a great place. He said it's the place to be if you're in Lansing, gay or straight, especially if you're a straight girl, though.
Yeah. Why is that? Because it's a gay club?
Oh, God. Yeah, straight girls love gay clubs. It's their favorite place to hang out.
Do you think they love gay clubs because they feel safe there, or because if a gay guy hits on them, it makes them feel great?
Well, I think a little from A and B. I think just gay guys are fun. How about that?
Maybe.
Yeah, they're more fun than fuddy-duddy straight white guys who are just constantly trying to get laid.
I went to a high school with a gay guy, and by halfway through sophomore year,
Did I say straight white guys?
Yeah.
I am so liberally tuned up right now.
I know
that I say straight white guys now just unconsciously. Straight white guys are at it again.
You need to put that uncirced liberal rager back in your pants for just a few segments.
Only for a couple segments. It's got to come back out before the show ends.
There is I went to high school with this gay guy who, by halfway through my sophomore year, I was convinced that he was a straight guy just pretending to be gay because it was like a badge of honor with the girls around the school for him to, like, grab their boobs. Like, oddly enough, his name was Kyle. And they're like, Kyle's so funny. The other day, he's over at my house, and I'm trying on bras for him because it's gay and okay. And he grabbed my boobs, and he said that my boobs were fantastic.
I don't know what the phenomenon is with that. But
gay guys
I know
love
it
boobs.
exists.
And straight girls love having their boobs grabbed by gay guys.
Here's the problem, Mike, is we're two straight guys,
right,
and we've yet to ask either a gay guy or a woman about this.
Well,
and we've yet to ask like a decent sample size as well, so we can get a consensus answer. I would like to commission a study.
Yeah.
Give a grant to U of M Flint. They could use some good publicity. Maybe
with our
Eastern
tax
Michigan
dollars?
University. Yeah, maybe Macomb Community College. I want to commission a study. Why do straight girls and gay guys get along so well, and why do gay guys get to grab all the titty they want?
Not me.
I want to be able to grab all the titty I can.
I see. I don't want to do the study because I have my theory in my head, and if there's one thing I hate, Kyle, it's having my theories and my opinions challenged.
That's a good point. Facts will often do that.
Right.
And that's what I want. I want some factual basis of how this has happened over time. Where's the evolution?
Now, back to Todd Corser, all right? A lot of people are calling for him to step down. I've been hoping he'd step down since June. But I'm not sure if adultery is a fireable offense for a politician, because if that were the case, well, we know plenty of unfaithful politicians, and I'm sure there's a lot more out there that we haven't heard of. I think you would be left with nobody if that was a fireable, impeachable offense.
Well, that's true, and I don't think that's the issue in all this. I think the issue is what is his rationale, his decision making. See, It's the way he executed
Well, I question
the
his mental.
cover-up, not the cover-up itself.
I question his mental health. And if I were Supreme Chancellor of the state of Michigan, I would order a mental health inquiry to every single person in Michigan government.
With local government,
On the taxpayer's dime, Kyle.
just to really rub it into Courser.
That's right.
I guess I'll put it this way. With local politicians, you never know what you're going to get. The requirements to become a state congressman or a state senator really aren't as stringent as they probably should be. The qualifications, it's a part-time job for these people. They don't make, some state senators do, but, it's not at the level that people think it is. Yes, they still have the power to make legislation. What I'm saying, that's why I think we should look a little bit more for the qualifications. We went through this phase where we wanted outsiders. I think that still obviously is lingering with the contingent out there that likes Donald Trump.
Right.
But this whole idea that we want outsiders who want to keep taxes low and want to flex for our religious freedoms as long as we're Christian, and this whole notion that you're putting in a bunch of ill-suited people, ill-suited, irrational, poorly educated people into state government, I don't think is a good plan. Todd Courser, with all due respect to the opinions of those who know him personally, it does not seem like he fits the bill. And same thing with his mistress, who's
Cindy Gamrat.
Gamrat, yeah. Excuse me. It's just her last name is so ridiculous. I kept thinking if I said it, I'd be saying it incorrectly.
Well, and you know what? she's laying low in this whole thing, which I think is smart. You know, Todd Courser's out here trying to get ahead of it.
I can imagine Todd Courser saying to her, "I'm going to fall on the sword for you."
See, that's what I'm like. It's some weird, twistic, romantic thing that he's doing in his head, where he's like, "Hey, don't worry, nobody will ever know. I'll do this gay sex thing. Your name will be cleared."
He kept saying slow burn too.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna do a slow burn. That's how we're gonna settle all this. A slow burn. And
he's probably burned a few when he came up with the idea to cover it up with a fake male prostitute story.
What I don't understand is how close were his feet to the coals that he felt compelled to blow the lid off of his own cover-up. And like that he felt the need to concoct this scheme like time was now. Or as people like Todd Courser like to put it, it was endgame. And where did he think Endgame was coming here? Like somebody must have got on his trail and kind of forced his hand a little bit and caused him to freak out. Either that or he really is bonkers. Like he's got this paranoid delusionment that caused him to make such an irrational decision.
Well, you know, they say the cover-up's always worse than the crime, and I think that there's two ways.
The cover-up to the cover-up is worse in this
because
instance.
Now he's coming out saying that people are blackmailing him. He put this out there to bait the blackmailers out of hiding.
So what kind
and expose them?
Fucking Rube Goldberg trick is he trying here?
He doesn't know. He has no clue. He's just shoveling on the BS, hoping that it'll go away. But this is how you respond to a PR nightmare like this. You either go the Chris Brown route, you apologize once and then continue like nothing happened, or, as we'll be talking about in the next segment, you do what Donald Trump does and just say, yeah, I did it, get over it, and keep going. And like I said, on the other side of the spray, Kyle, I think we need to start looking at the very real possibility that Donald Trump might become the Republican nominee for president, and maybe the next president of the United States. Let's turn the radio off on the internet.
Less rock, more talk. Turn the radio off.
Become a fan at peoplehatemypodcast.com.
Attention! Your gym teacher escaped from charm school, irons his underwear, watches hygiene films. He says, anyone chewing bubble tape owes me 50 push-ups. The lunch lady wears a hairnet, serves mashed potatoes with an ice cream scoop, puts gravy on everything. She says,
bubble tape is not part of a well-balanced diet.
Bubble tape, it's 6 feet of bubble gum for you, not them.
What? No time for breakfast? Now look, since 6 o'clock last night you haven't eaten a bite. Come on, I'll show you why that's really not the way for a growing kid to start a busy day. Here we are inside your body, and this noisy empty space is your stomach getting angry because there's no food in the place. Uh-oh, let's find some food fast. Now listen, I don't want you to think this is the best way to eat breakfast, but in case you can't cook, and if you haven't time for a good cereal and a well-balanced meal, then this quickie breakfast is better than nothing at all, okay? Hey, here's orange juice and milk and fruit juice waiting to be taken. And bless my soul, right here's a bowl with one cold piece of steak in, a hard-boiled egg or chicken leg or cheese or luncheon meat, or a peanut butter sandwich. Any time of day is a treat. So to keep your mom from grumbling and stop that stomach rumbling and keep your legs from stumbling when you play, you gotta eat some kind of breakfast every day.
They talk to a microphone because they're no good at talking to women.
You, me, bar, beers, buzzed, wings, shots, drunk, waitresses, hot, football, Cornell Hofstra, slaughter, then quick nap at my place and we hit the tears out.
Turn the radio off.
Well, during the break, we called one of the only 3 girls that we know and asked her thoughts on, or that you haven't slept with yet. And we got her take on why do straight women love gay men so much. And it's exactly as I thought, Kyle. It's for pure, unadulterated, no strings attached compliments.
And they get to have fun and feel safe in the clubs, too.
Right.
Because they're not, because they go to a gay club, they dance their ass off, drink all the martinis they want, not have to worry about, somebody drugging them. At least the chances are cut down significantly.
Right. It's nice to hear a man say, hey, you look pretty. But it's not nice to feel like a guy is giving you those compliments because he wants to sleep with you.
Yes.
Unless the guy's hot, I guess. I don't know.
It all works out in the end, one way or the other.
So, see, Kyle, I'm glad we did that research because my theory was proven correctly.
That one woman we asked will now go down as scientific.
It's like you say something slightly racist. You say, "Oh, I have one black friend who's okay with that." So, ergo, all black people are okay with my slightly.
She speaks for the entire gender and orientation.
Yeah, exactly. So, thank you.
And we solved that mystery. All right.
So, another theory that I have, we may have to wait all the way to 2016 to find out if it's correct. When this whole Donald Trump thing started, Kyle, there's been about 3 times where I said, oh, it's over. Of course, his Mexicans comment where he said that Mexico's sending rapists and criminals over. Nope, didn't sink him. When he said that John McCain was no war hero, he just got captured. That didn't sink him. And the debates from last week didn't sink him. In fact, all 3 of these things have only widened his margins. And I think that people are going to have to come to grips with the fact that this might not be a publicity stunt and that Donald Trump, if things keep going the way they're going, is going to be the Republican nominee for president. And if he's running against Hillary Clinton, he may become the next president of the United States.
Mike, I would love to go back and forth with you on this and kill a nice 15 minutes of just saying, oh, yeah, here are the prospects. Here's why.
Yeah.
Yes, this can happen. Mike, no, it's not happening. I don't care what the polls say. We're still too far away as far as endorsements, as far as campaign money, stuff that over time is proven to really matter. Yes, he's got some polls going well, but people right now are still really basing what their belief or what candidates they like on entertainment value more than they are concrete issues. It's going to get down to it, and I made the prediction as soon as he entered the race, and it scares the hell out of me, but I'm going to stick with it, and you can put this on tape. Scott Walker.
Okay.
Firmly believe it's going to be Scott Walker because he's Ronald Reagan incarnate. I mean, he is this generation's Ronald Reagan. He's going to win the election. He's going to cripple this country's labor force. We're going to go into another recession. The market's going to pull us out of it. He's going to be called a hero. The 30-year cycle will repeat itself, okay? And we're probably going to go to another war or two or 3 or 4, and women may be restricted to cages while he's president. So I'm
Women
just
will
saying,
only be allowed to go to gay clubs with their husband's permission.
no, gays won't be around anymore.
That's true.
Yeah, they'll be annexed over to Canada, which they'll welcome them.
Yeah.
It'll be great. Actually, it'll be a boon for both the gays and Canadians if the Canadians get annexed up to Canada.
The Northwest Territory is going to be it's going to be gay Tahoe.
They got a lot of land to fill out up there, so I'm just saying. I hope that doesn't happen, but that's what might happen if Scott Walker gets elected. But that's my opinion on the Republican candidacy. I still believe, even though Trump continues to climb in the polls and seemingly become more popular, I think it's all based off entertainment, not committing to it.
In full disclosure, the poll that has Donald Trump with a 10-point lead over now the guy who's in second place, Ted Cruz. It was done by like SurveyMonkey. It's one of those. It's one of those polls that if anyone with the WordPress could put it up.
What?
So it's not
Ted Cruz.
I think Ted Cruz. I don't know. Maybe he mounted a Twitter campaign to get his poll numbers up.
Was this actually a poll on who looks more bloated?
No, it was on NBC.com.
Okay.
I'm in such a weird place with Trump, and I think that I reflect a lot of the nation. We don't necessarily want to see Trump become president, but we want to see how far this thing will go.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree for entertainment value. It's great.
Not only do all the Republicans not want him to win, it seems now that Fox News doesn't want him to win. And he just keeps going up in the polls. But then I think to myself, Kyle, okay, no way in hell do I want Donald Trump to be president. But then, who would I rather see in there? I don't have an answer.
No, I mean, seriously, out of the right, I don't have an answer either. I think they all suck in one way or the other, and Trump might seriously be the most moderate and least offensive out of them. People are getting on, and this is what I thought was hilarious. Trump made the Megyn Kelly comments,
right,
which he may have been inferring that she was on her period.
Or maybe not. What he's been saying is, well, I was going to say it was coming out of her nose and ears, but I wanted to stop talking about Megyn Kelly and start talking about important things.
Yeah,
I could buy that.
Yeah, sure. Whatever, Trump. It's okay. Listen.
Well, and you know what, Kyle? Even if he was, how has Megyn Kelly become untouchable? The white knighting in defense of Megyn Kelly. And I do, to her credit, I don't think she called for any of it, but the white knighting of Megyn Kelly, I can see why other candidates do it, because right now the GOP strategy is to beat Trump. It's no longer beat Hillary, and that seems to be a
which
theme.
Helps Hillary.
Yeah, well, that seems to be a theme in these elections. In 2008, it was beat Hillary, and then oh crap, here comes Barack Obama, and 2016 beat Hillary. Oh crap, here comes Donald Trump. So I can understand why the candidates are doing it, because they got to be on record saying that Donald Trump's a pig and you shouldn't vote for him and everything. But, yeah, like redstate.com, there's this guy named Eric Erickson, like that's his real name, who runs it. And
who refers to all feminists as women who are too ugly to get boyfriends.
Right. He runs this website called redstate.com. On top of that, he fills in regularly for Rush Limbaugh, and he's always saying stuff like that, or talking about why are people so sensitive and why are they so politically correct. He canceled Donald Trump's appearance at one of his events because of what he said about poor little Megyn Kelly. And I think that these white knights are actually making Megyn Kelly look weak.
And when you say white knights, that has a double meaning, because most of these guys are in the Klan.
Well, no, I was talking about neckbeards.
Sorry.
But
right.
Yeah, I think a lot of these reporters, they get more than what they bargained for with Trump, because you saw Megyn Kelly. She was trying to nail him with the things you said about women. When he's on the Today Show, Savannah Guthrie, has fire in her eyes. And it's like, look, I understand you don't like the guy, but get the stink out of your eye, okay? Your job is to interview these people. And the fact, when you come out blazing When you come out guns blazing like this, and you take a guy who doesn't give a crap what the public thinks of him, he's going to make you look silly. I mean, it works with other politicians because their job is to make people like him and vote for him. Trump's not a politician, and I think that, you know, what Megyn Kelly did, what Good Morning America does, or Savannah Guthrie works for other politicians, but you know, Trump is alpha male, maybe to the point of being a sociopath. So this stuff's not going to work, and you're going to end up looking silly.
Well, and the problem, like, going along with what you're saying, is that when politicians do it to each other, they're doing it to bring someone else down a notch. When they do it with Trump, they're playing Trump's game. Trump already has him checkmated at that. So that's why it doesn't work. A couple of things regarding the Megyn Kelly comment. Mainly that when I hear Jeb Bush and I hear other Republican candidates.
Did you see Jeb Bush in the debate? He was like Lurch from the Addams Family. I'm like, how is this guy going to be the front? How is this going to be the guy who brings down Trump?
Because he knows he can just stand there and he's going to have enough money to wipe Trump out when the time comes. But when I hear him condemn the statements, and when I hear I haven't heard specific statements from specific candidates. I know Jeb Bush was one for sure. But when I hear it, but if any of them have a statement condemning Trump for what he said about Megyn Kelly, or inferred about her being on her period and that making her irrational, let's remember that these are all men. Maybe Carly Fiorina said something
she
too.
did, which to me she has the most credibility when she says it,
right,
obviously.
Because but the point is that we're talking about mostly men who have continuously made it an effort, or have continuously made it a agenda of theirs, a mission of theirs, to defund Planned Parenthood, to strip women of their reproductive rights, to take away, to limit birth control, or to take it away, to ban abortion or severely restrict abortion, or dictate what a woman can do with her body and when. What Trump said to me isn't as offensive as the legislation that these people have been trying to pass ever since they've been in office.
See, you're right, and I heard that today. I've heard a few people say, and I can't say exactly
they
who.
have no room to speak, because
Right.
with Trump it's just words. With them it's actions.
Right. What Trump said was offensive, but what they've done is far worse than offensive through legislation.
And secondly, on top of that, regarding the whole Megyn Kelly thing, it's a classic example of Trump debasing everyone, taking the professionalism out of politics. I mean, what was left of it, coming into this election cycle, and he has brought everyone down to his level. But more importantly, he's taking logic out of it. He's taking fact out of it. He's running a campaign.
Well, logic and fact left a long time ago. Let's be honest.
I know, but even if they attempt to bring that to the table now, Trump has debased everyone to the point where he is going to, if he's going to get anywhere in his campaign, it's going to be on emotional, vitriolic rhetoric, and that alone. And that's what he's enticing everyone from the media to his fellow candidates into being.
Well, one thing Trump does, he does a couple things. Number one, it was incredible watching. He lost and won the audience back about 4 times every answer. Number two, what he does is he makes every question that's challenging him seem like it's beside the point. You know, he almost makes the person asking look stupid because he brushes it off, and then he'll say something like, "We don't have time for political correctness." And stuff like
right,
that.
Some boilerplate.
Right, but
yeah.
it's like
algorithms.
Now, Kyle, I don't often reference Family Guy on the show, but there's that episode where Lois is running for mayor, and she goes, 9/11 was bad. And everyone stands up and goes, woo!
Yep.
It's sort of like that. But, you know, I think so many, especially Republicans, are scared to death of Trump winning the nomination. I think, number one, it makes them makes their party look like a joke. Number two, there's this myth out there, and I've been noticing this myth for a couple of years. I see it in my business. I see it in other businesses. The myth of paying your dues. Trump hasn't been in politics. He hasn't paid his dues, and I think that paying your dues it's just a myth put out there by people who are jealous and bitter, been doing something too long, to devalue someone who's been doing it for less time than they have, jumping ahead of them in the pecking order. And I think Trump is taking the whole notion of paying your dues and smashing it on the ground. It also shows that amongst the Republicans, there's not one likable candidate charismatic enough to beat a reality TV star.
Yeah, and ultimately, I think when it gets down to it, I think it's going to be Jeb Bush because he has the power, Scott Walker because he has the agenda, and then Marco Rubio because he's the youngest. He has minority roots, he has Latino roots, and I think that'll play well to what the party's trying to ultimately do.
He's the handsomest of all the candidates.
You're right. They're going to use him to try to play to the moderates, and I think when the dust settles out of the bajillion Republican candidates, I think it's going to be those three in a pretty heated battle to win the nomination. I think Walker's going to get it, but Trump's going to fade. I don't know when, but it's going to happen.
Not to toot my own horn, Kyle, but if I were thinner, more conservative, and a little more Hispanic, I think I would look just like Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio's a handsome guy.
We have that. I have that stupid nondescript honky haircut that we both have.
Yeah,
that's why.
That's true.
Yeah, thank you.
But and it's funny because I think to me it really gave me confidence that despite everything I thought going back to a year ago, I think Hillary Clinton is going to end up winning this. Because it's shown that no one on the right, the right has become such a clown show because they've gotten so sucked up in their moral crusades and their boilerplate cliches that they can't get out of their own way anymore.
You could be right, Kyle.
They've constipated themselves.
If there's one thing that this young election season has taught me is that all my predictions are wrong. So you could take comfort in that because I'm predicting that there's a real possibility Trump is going to be the Republican candidate, and I've been wrong on everything so far. So
I would love to see Bernie Sanders, who, I mean, there's a whole mess going on with his campaign right now on Black Lives Matter.
We might get to that later. We'll see.
But I was going to say there's Bernie Sanders, who I wish he would give Hillary a run. I would love to see him. I think it'd be a great story.
He's drawing much bigger crowds than Hillary.
He is, but when it gets down to it, man, the money, the power, the influence, Hillary is, to use a buzz term, an insider. And ultimately that does count for something. I think she's going to crush him, and I think she's going to end up crushing whoever comes out of the primary, but it's over a year away. We'll see. It's over a year away.
These fat cats in Washington are concerned about Wall Street. What about Main Street? It's Turn the Radio Off on the internet.
Turn the radio off. With Mike Parsons.
No drug dealers living next to me. Pretty good deal.
Kyle Bauer.
Yeah.
People hate my podcast.com.
It's sometime in the future. The ultimate challenge. Crossfire. Crossfire. You can count on the crossfire. Crossfire. You can count on the crossfire. 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 You'll get caught up in it.
I'm Polly Pocket. Want to see what's new? Really fun compacts just for you. Polly Pocket has a stage where she dances ballet. In her shiny tutu, so pretty today. Polly Pocket. Polly's water fun park, a big slide for the pair. Then happy birthday, surprise, it's a bear. Polly Pocket. Polly Pocket. Now there's lots more ways to have a Polly day.
Polly Pocket Party Time Surprise, Water Fun Park, and Ballerina Polly Compacts are each sold separately.
What exactly is it that makes a Ford Escort GT so much fun? Well, let's start with its powerful 16-valve dual overhead cam engine. It's a blast. A scream. It really cuts. Then there's Escort GT's great looks. You know, the kind that'll turn more heads than a screwdriver. Speaking of turns, that's where Escort GT's nimble sport suspension comes in. We're talking road hugging. So ask yourself, isn't it time for a little fun? Yes! And have you driven a Ford lately?
Turn the radio off. Tell your friends about us. Make them like us on Facebook.
I am not sure if we are broadcasting properly.
Turn the radio off. Online and worldwide. TTROshow.com.
Second week in a row, Kyle. Could you keep your mouth shut until the sweeper's done?
Did the sweeper, did I talk over the sweeper? Did the microphone catch me saying that poor dog in zero gravity?
Who's a bigger scourge? Kyle on my palatial basement studio, or Patrick Kane on the city of Buffalo?
Or my budget keeping me from getting a pair of headphones for the
that
show,
too.
which I haven't had since we've been recording it in your basement for, a month now?
Yeah, I would say we would start a GoFundMe, but I think that GoFundMe opens you up to a lot of embarrassment because you see a lot of these sad GoFundMe pages or Kickstarter pages that have like zero. That have zero donations. It's always something stupid, too, like fund my locally produced film, and it's like $50, you'll get a shout-out on Twitter.
Yeah, nobody really wants to do... Like, I've thought about that, and we're about to dive into a really serious topic here, so I'm going to make one more light remark before we do. I was thinking at one point, I need to buy a bunch of equipment to start a home studio so I can edit and record Midtown to Metro at home. My other podcast, Spreaker.com/Midtown to Metro.
That'll cost you. That's advertising.
Yeah, and I was thinking, okay, I'm raising the money, so what do I have to incentivize these people? Like,
right.
I'll show receipts.
Right.
You know I'm not spending it on beer.
Didn't some guy raise thousands of dollars on like a Kickstarter to help him make a turkey sandwich or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why it's either has to be so absurd or a legitimately like good cause,
or you have to be like a beloved nostalgia entity from the 90s. Like
like LeVar Burton and Reading Rainbow.
Right. I think LeVar Burton is just sitting on a pile of cash right now, drinking the most expensive Cavassier out of a pewter chalice.
So that's the problem. I have no way of incentivizing people. So there's no way I could get a Kickstarter or GoFundMe or Indiegogo or any of those started up. But Mike, you mentioned though very serious story. Patrick Kane, who is undoubtedly one of the NHL's best players. Recently won his third Stanley Cup in 6 years, and he's only 25, 26 years old, too. Still super young.
Probably why he's such a jackass.
That's part of it, and we're going to get into that aspect of it, but there are allegations that he sexually assaulted a girl over the weekend at his home in the suburbs of Buffalo.
Is Buffalo where he punched a cabbie, or was that Chicago?
That was Buffalo.
Okay.
All the trouble he's gotten in when he's gone back home.
Do you think during the off season, the good folks of Buffalo, they shut themselves up in their homes like Transylvania does when Dracula hits nightfall?
Yeah. Well, it's you could say it's the Carolina Hurricanes.
You're
the
a
Carolina Hurricaners.
You're worse than Todd Corser. How dare you make jokes about this?
Okay, all right. I'm making fun of Patrick Kane, not the act that Patrick Kane allegedly did.
Yeah, you don't have to explain anything to me.
All right. You don't touch you with my rape jokes.
Oh, okay,
but...
as you should be.
Yes, but... So the allegations are pretty severe. There's already been a rape kit administered.
Sorry, that's Uber trying to get me to finish my application.
There's already been...
Continue.
Oh, okay. Don't want to be chuckling when I say this. There's already been a rape kit administered, and there's already a prosecutor assigned to the case. Chances are he's going to be brought up on charges. Frankly, I'm surprised he hasn't by now. Possibility his lawyer is doing some dirty work, and the Chicago Blackhawks are doing some dirty work to prevent him from being charged. We all know what happened with Jameis Winston, where he had all the evidence in the world, including a rape kit that identified him, identified rape, identified him, his DNA, and he still wasn't charged.
Yeah.
And we remember that
because the alleged victim had sex once in her life, so she was asking for it, obviously.
Yeah, and we remember that press conference from the district attorney where he was grinning the entire time saying, oh, well, we didn't see that our fine young boy Jameis did anything wrong, anything that was not consensual. He's a good young man. We just need to give him a chance. Meanwhile, there's some poor girl, just...
I thought it was weird.
Her life is ruined.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that he closed the press conference with "Go Seminoles."
Yeah, we're not joking, folks. He did that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, so I haven't heard anything with what happened with Kane because you know me, I stopped following the NHL after the 2004 lockout. So I'm not even sure if there really is a guy in the NHL named Patrick Kane, but I'm going to take your word for it.
Oh, there is, and he's a bona fide superstar,
right.
and that's one of the troubles with this. And mind you, whatever I'm about to say and speak in the context of it being unfortunate or being a tragedy, obviously does not trump what allegedly happened. And that, of course, is the real possible tragedy in this. Okay, we've gotten those platitudes out of the way. But I'm going to speak contextually from a NHL fan standpoint and someone who wants to see the game grow. Patrick Kane burst onto the scene back in 2008, and he came in as this flashy kid who, born and raised in Buffalo, played his junior hockey in the United States as opposed to going to Canada where so many players do.
He was one of ours.
He made it to the silver, won the silver medal in the 2010 Olympics with an underdog USA team, and he's also has perennially been one of the leading scorers in the league, and without question, one of the most talented. And you see someone who could be a real superstar. He's shown charisma. I think the real problem with a lot of hockey players is they're brought up to be robots these days. And there's this whole culture in the NHL and in hockey in general, when you're speaking to the media, you're not in color. You're black and white, you're straight-laced, you got your suit on, you got your hair done up nice, you're clean-shaven. Everything is a cliche. You say as much as you can without saying anything. Not just as little as you can, nothing. You don't want to give the press anything. Any color, any personality, any of that's perceived as being selfish, as taking the spotlight off the team and putting it onto yourself.
Very European mindset.
No, Mike, I excuse me if I'm a little harsh in correcting you, very Canadian.
Oh, all right.
This is definitely a Canadian thing through and through. And that's why Russian players are often criticized when they come over here. They're criticized for being too flashy on the ice, too expressive on the ice and off it. And same thing with a lot of American players. Patrick Kane was one of them. So, to me, I thought that was a good thing, that he was so exuberant, that he was flashy, that he wasn't scared to completely undress a goalie in a 6-goal game.
It was like a breath of fresh air before you thought he was a rapist.
But in 2011... there was the Cinco de Caner incident, as it's known, where he spent Cinco de Mayo, because the Blackhawks were already eliminated from the playoffs. He spent Cinco de Mayo in Buffalo, and he raged through the town. And he became, I remember the line from Deadspin was, Patrick Kane has become more alcohol than man. And he was accused of getting in several fights, and at one point accused of choking out a sorority girl, but no charges ended up being filed. And the main question back then was, did he consensually choke her?
Right.
So
fast
there
forward.
was some smoke.
Right. So
back then.
Fast forward to now.
Right, and fast forward to now. But the reason why I go back to that was because he had endorsements. He had endorsements. With various hockey gear that he promotes. He had endorsement with Gatorade. He had endorsement with Capital One. He had an endorsement with Tim Hortons.
Did he lose all those?
He lost all of them because of that incident.
Okay.
So the guy the American, one of the arguably best players in the game is American. You can get him to promote the game, but you can't rein in his behavior off the ice. So what happens?
It's no longer,
you got to drop him.
Right.
He's not marketable anymore.
No longer an ambassador of the game.
So he begins to just develop some goodwill, bank up some good credit. He spent the lockout in Europe with his mom playing hockey over in Switzerland, and she was trying
his image, right?
Trying to keep him in check. And there are all these great PR stories about how he's getting clean and how he's reading and he's not drinking anymore, and he's trying to tone down his image. And then, boom, wins another Stanley Cup. His inhibitions completely get let down. Everybody starts telling him he can do whatever the hell he wants again. And this happens. And what I'm saying is that, Mike, ultimately Patrick Kane's actions, yet to be determined, of course. I mean, he hasn't even been charged yet, and we'll see. Innocent until proven guilty, all that.
In a court of law, not court of public opinion. I think people need to remember that.
Yes, but it doesn't look good so far. It doesn't look good. And you get to this point where, again, you're facing another incident with somebody that could have been something special. And, of course, it's more unfortunate for the alleged victim because just by virtue of her accusing and trying to bring him up on charges.
She's on trial
Her
now.
life is fucked. And it's going to be for a long time. And the Buffalo News, who's already done an awful job of covering this story, I know they're going to release her name soon. And then all hell's going to break loose for her.
You know, it's always really tricky when someone of high profile, especially an athlete, is accused of sexual assault. Because, yes, it does and I think everyone jumps to the conclusion that the alleged victim is doing it for money. They're doing it for notoriety. And it does happen.
It's rare.
It does happen. So, they may be looking for a payoff. But, like you said, I think that's rare, and I think that is I think that's found out pretty quickly. But you're right, Kyle, and I think that with what happened with Jameis Winston and what happens with all of Cosby's victims, people say, "Oh, well, why did they wait so long to come out?" Well, because if you go after someone that high profile, not only are they on trial, now you're on trial because that's the defense lawyer's job, right?
And because you're not
to prove if you're a defense attorney, all you have to do is enter a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
So
that's all you have to do. So the burden becomes on the victim and not on the alleged criminal. And also, too, the reason why it's going to suck for her is because she's not a famous hockey player. She's not a beloved hockey player. Patrick Kane is considered a hero in Buffalo. He's considered a hero in Chicago, and there's a lot of hockey fans across the country that look up to him. And now all those people are having to fight disillusionment. The idea that because this guy who is really good at playing hockey that I look up to for his hockey skills, because of what he does on the ice, there's no way he could do something so heinous off the ice.
Well, let me ask you this, and we are up against it, but I got to. We haven't even talked about the evidence in this case. Has enough come out for you to feel confident that he's guilty, or is it? Are you just Are you just guessing that? Which is not necessarily wrong.
Well, the timing. Well, yeah, just the fact that there's already a rape kit and a prosecutor, and he's got a little bit of
circumstantial evidence.
Yeah,
leads you to believe. And like I said, this is the court of public opinion. It's not the court of law. So,
but Mike, I wanted to make one more quick point about this. And it's a loaded topic for me because I'm a big Patrick Kane fan as well, and this was absolutely devastating to hear about, and it's tough. But just from the whole hockey culture, I've been playing hockey since I was 10, which isn't a relatively long time. Most people start long before I do. But still, I've been playing the game for decades. I've covered the game at a college level, and I've traveled with hockey teams. And I've seen the police blotter on a lot of NHL players, which often gets overlooked in comparison to NBA and NFL players. But the rap sheets are there. And I can tell you from my experience that there is definitely, without a doubt, a culture problem with the NHL and with hockey in general. And I've talked about this on the show a while back, but Boston University, notoriously, there was a huge sexual assault scandal where basically the players were pillaging the campus. And there have been junior hockey players filming sex and releasing the tapes without the girls' consent. A couple times it's been with underage girls. There have been sex scandals, sexual assault scandals throughout hockey that have been raging through the ranks of juniors and college all the way up to the pros. And hockey's got a culture problem of entitlement, of saying, okay, boys, when you talk to the press, be as professional as straight-laced, and that excuses you being an ass off the ice. Okay,
Is that hockey itself, or is that all sports?
Well, I think it's all sports, but I think especially in hockey, because hockey is not very inclusive. Hockey's has become a sport of white privilege, and I think because of that, I think it lowers the stakes for a lot of these guys, and they feel that they're insulated, and they feel that in a sense they're invincible and they can take what they want. And I think that arrogance, that bro culture, if you will, I think has led to a lot of transgressions from a lot of players. And the NHL, similar to the NFL, I think has to address the conduct of its players off the ice. Because, like I said, the rap sheet's been long in the past year. But especially with this is obviously going to be a very serious case, and we're going to see what happens.
Let's turn the radio off on the internet.
Turn the radio off with Machine Gun Mike Parsons.
And guess what? Life isn't fair. You don't always get what you want.
And Kyle Avocado Bauer.
Oh, zombie preparedness kit. I'm a zombie. Lols, lols, lols.
We'll be back in seconds. Turn the radio off. With more Turn the radio off.
Got mail.
On the internet.
What is Jack?
Jack is great stuff. Oozy. Jack is sexy.
You can pull it. Make Gak sounds.
How rude.
Suck it up and squirt it out with a Gak vac. Pump it up and blow it up with a Gak inflator.
Well, I never.
Nickelodeon Gak comes in different colors, sizes, and play sets, each sold separately. Coming soon from Mattel.
Disgusting.
Who asked you to go out of town? The stupid young one or the married one?
The married one.
That's what I thought. Don't go, you hear me? And you know what? You're not listening to me because I see you going. I see you going. I'm just telling you, I'm trying to help you to avoid the heartache. Don't go blindly through life. Let me use the power of the tarot to show you the way. Call me now for your free reading.
Call 1-800-355-3765.
Your non-stop alt-talk alternative for 1 hour a week. Turn the radio off. Become a fan at peoplehatemypodcast.com.
You know, during one of the breaks, Kyle, we were talking. Remember when our show used to be funny?
Yes. It was years ago.
Quite down gag
For a
commercial.
couple episodes, I think.
It was.
We had a little bit of a run.
The world's just a terrible place. It's defeated us.
Okay, Mike, you know what I got to seriously say was the turning point?
What's that?
Of our show and just kind of culturally in this country, because that's often what we talk about.
Because we're the voice of our generation.
God, I hope not.
Sorry, generation.
Trayvon Martin.
I think
because we had been doing the podcast for a little over a year, like a little over like a year and a half, and then the Trayvon Martin thing happened, and it seems like every episode we've done since then has been about race, has been about gender, has been about like all these serious. It's like seriously, it's like. The Trayvon Martin thing, I think having a black president for the first time in our country's history was one thing, but I think the Trayvon Martin thing really was the tipping point.
Yeah.
I really think it was.
What, that shows we still have a long way to go? Or
yeah,
what?
Well, I just think it cracked everything open socially, because you think of how much, and just since 2012, how much of a topic race relations have been, the police brutality has been, gun control has been, and gender too.
You know
gender and sexual orientation, all this stuff. It seems like we turned a corner there into this endless hell of trying to solve our social ills by screaming at each other on the internet.
Well, you know, I'm glad you brought up gender, because to me it seems like we're getting a little bit of a reprieve. I don't know if that's the right word, but a bit of a reprieve from the highly charged race discussion. It's still going on, but I think that gender, I think gender is kind of becoming the forefront of the hot button outrage issue right now. And I'm okay with that because I don't feel like that's as much of a tinderbox yet as race relations. But I think, I've said on a past episode, I think a lot of people need to learn some nuance with their opinions. You can disagree with something or think something's unnecessary without calling for a boycott.
Yeah, right. And I've seen that. Both on the right and the left, significantly on the right and I think both ends.
I think
very guilty.
I think you're coming to the realization both sides are crazy and both sides criticize the other side for doing the same stuff they do. Target's been in the news today because it is ditching the gender labels on toys. Like if you go to the toy aisle, it would say boys building sets and girls building sets. Well, now they're just getting rid of that and putting up building sets. Instead of girls' clothes and boys' clothes, they're just going to say it's all clothes.
Yeah.
Which, to me, I don't necessarily think that's necessary.
Well, for little kids, I think you don't have to have as much distinction.
Right. But, Kyle, there's some people out there saying, I'll never shop at Target again. Really? That's the thing that's going to make you stop shopping at a store? It's like people. You can disagree with something, or you can think something is unnecessary without it outraging you. We tire ourselves out so much by being outraged by something, by everything we just kind of disagree with. And really what I think is going to happen, Kyle, you take these college courses, and they say that, Disney programs gender roles into people. I think gender roles are already pre-programmed into people. When I was a boy, okay, my sisters had Barbies. I played with the Ninja Turtles. Not because society was telling me at 6 years old that I had to like the Ninja Turtles. I was just a boy. Something about the Ninja Turtles appealed to me. So, that. But not everyone is like that. But I do think that, taking gender roles off of something isn't going to pussify our culture or make our boys more feminine, which there's nothing inherently wrong with that.
Yeah.
Look.
Why is that the main concern?
Right. There? I mean, look, if you're a boy who's into feminine things, or you're a girl that's into masculine things, you're gonna gravitate towards that regardless of what society, quote unquote, programs into you.
And it's not like Target is going to stop selling dresses.
Right.
Or they're going to stop selling baseball caps for little kids, or however you want to look at it.
It's just not going to say boys' clothes or girls' clothes. You'll be able to tell. It's not like they're going to mix it up and make it harder for you to find shorts.
See, what I'm concerned is that Target is going to use this as an excuse to lay off like 50,000 more people. That's my concern.
Right.
Well, we the person who put up
too many people boycotting us in Alabama. We've got to lay off a bunch of people.
No. See, they were using two different people to set up the girls section and the boys section.
Right.
So now they're going to merge that position into one.
That's right.
And someone's getting let go. And I think it's fine. I mean, this is one thing that the only time kind of gendered stuff with children has bothered me has been with superheroes, because you see it so much in comic books. And how gender's often played out in comic books. The most recent Avengers movie got in trouble for that because Black Widow had baby fever throughout the movie.
Oh, like she wanted to get knocked up?
But it wasn't Ultron who had the power to destroy the world with a single movement of his hand. That wasn't her concern. Her concern was having a kid with Bruce Banner.
Right.
That's
why she's paid 75 cents on the dollar to other male superheroes.
Right, because she's distracted by babies and things that are colored pink.
Yeah. How is she supposed to shut down Dr. Robotnik when she's with child?
But
I know I'm crossing universes here, but
I was going to say
the Avengers Sonic the Hedgehog crossover movie.
No one wants to see that.
I would.
There's going to be a Kickstarter for it now. Watch.
It's going to get a lot more money than your headphones.
Yeah, but as I was going to say, it's never bothered me except with that because you're talking about with like superheroes, you're talking about positions of power,
right?
And it's like when you're jamming your kid into a Superman shirt. Well, what if for some reason your kid likes Wonder Woman, or more saliently, what if your daughter likes Batman?
Yeah,
I know a lot of girls who love Batman, and I'm starting to see girls wear Batman shirts all the time now. But back in the day, it's not like you saw little girls rolling around with Batman shirts because they probably were discouraged from it. That's the only I don't mind if girls want to play with Barbies. I don't mind if boys want to play with G.I. Joes. You could say something about, you could go all over. The point is, we have more concerns than that.
We got to go. People at mypodcast.com. Bye.